Hello, Bill here again. Welcome, vinyl community, to another episode in my series, Rock's 7-Year Itch. And this time I'm going to be looking at the period 1977 to 1983. And of course, we all know that this is when punk rock descends upon the scene. But yeah, just wanted to show you a couple of mega albums from 1977. So this is, of course, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours, Mick Fleetwood on drums. We've got Stevie Nicks on vocals, Lindsey Buckingham on guitar and vocals, John McVie on bass, and Christine McVie on keyboards, synthesizer, and also vocals. And this has got, a fantastic array of songs such as Secondhand News, Dreams, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, The Chain, which is synonymous with Formula One, and You Make Loving Fun, and yeah, Oh Daddy. The whole album is full of classics beginning to end. So that's one of the classic rock albums from 77. And then another band of longevity, Steely Dan, and another classic album, Asia. And so I'm not sure if Steely Dan have a formula, but they certainly have a way of working with Donald Fagen and Walter Becker, leading a consortium of musicians. So this one's got Wayne Shorter doing a guest sax solo appearance. And yeah, lots of great musicians on Steely Dan's Asia. We have Deacon Blues, which became the inspiration or the name of a Scottish band. And yeah, Peg, I Got the News, Josie, Asia, and Black Cow. So these were the bands, plus, of course, the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and all the bands of the 60s and pre-77, Bob Dylan and Simon and Garfunkel, etc. That these guys, the Buzzcocks and some other well-known names from the punk era, were rebelling against. So this was young teenagers saying we're fed up of Big Brother's music, we're fed up of music that our mums and dads listened to, because I guess there were some teenagers whose mums and dads had been teenagers during the early 60s. So this new, well, they're not new, but they're teenagers with disposable income, and they want to either make their own band, make their own music, or they want to buy fresh music that annoys their parents and their older siblings. So yeah, we've got the Buzzcocks, and one of the best names ever for a record, Spiral Scratch. So this has got 4 songs on the EP: Breakdown, Time's Up, Boredom, and Friends of Mine. Great EP. And usually when I'm doing these eras of rock, I like to have a compilation that highlights some of the main artists from the period. And this is actually, it's called That Summer, and it is a soundtrack from a film. It's a sort of coming of age, rite of passage film, but yeah, sort of, I think they're harping back to mods and rockers here, but this is Brighton Beach, or a beach on the south coast of England. And the film starred Ray Winstone, Tony London, Emily Moore, and Julie Shipley. and fantastic set of records that's featured in the film. So you've got Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, Ian Dury and the Blockheads, Spanish Stroll by Mink DeVille, She's So Modern, the Boomtown Rats, The Only Ones, Another Girl, Another Planet, Whole Wide World, Reckless Eric. And we've got Because the Night, the Patti Smith Group. And then Rockaway Beach, the Ramones. We'll come back to the Ramones in a second. And Teenage Kicks by the Undertones. And What a Waste by Ian Dury and the Blockheads. And then I Love the Sound of Breaking Glass, Nick Lowe. And there's a couple of Elvis Costello singles on here, and Blank Generation by Richard Hell and the Voidoids. And yeah, this is a great summary of the punk new wave era. And I mentioned Ramones. Of course, there's always the guiding lights. So this Ramones album was actually issued in 1976. So again, these guys, the Ramones, they're harping back to the garage band days of the 60s. And so harping back to the days of the Electric Prunes and the Blue Magoos and garage bands, where the guys in the band are really learning their instrument and playing 3-chord wonders. So yeah, this has got Blitzkrieg pop on it, Judy is a Punk, and Let's Dance, and I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. So yeah, great album. I've only got it on CD, but yes, this was 76. So this is a trailblazer, but yeah, the trail is about to blaze bright with these guys. And one of the most fantastic, impactful record sleeves of all time, and it's Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols. And almost like a blackmail with messages cut out of newspaper headlines, etc. But look at the lineup of songs on here: Pretty Vacant, Anarchy in the UK, Holidays in the Sun, and God Save the Queen, I Mean It Man. So Sex Pistols, and of course they did their own film, the sort of Malcolm McLaren as Pop Svengali, and this has got some great tracks on it as well, such as Something Else, which yeah, the Sex Pistols' best songs are their covers of Eddie Cochran, and they do Rock Around the Clock as well, and a fantastic version of My Way. So this is from the soundtrack to The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. And you can't mention the punk era without these guys. And it's The Clash. And this is their debut album from 77. And it's got White Riot, Johnny Jones, I'm So Bored with the USA, Police and Thieves, and London's Burning. Great. Again, the style of the album cover is totally different to Rumours and Asia, and it shows plenty of attitude. So The Clash. But yeah, I think The Clash, their masterpiece was actually London Calling. And not sure if I would call this a punk album. This is an eclectic album. So it's got punk, it's got, you know, power chords and 3-minute songs, but it's also got, you know, more than a hint of reggae and more than a hint of jazz in it. Love Jimmy Jazz, love brand new Cadillac, and Coca-Cola, and The Guns of Brixton, and really like Lost in a Supermarket. This is a really important album in the history of rock music. And then I suppose the next one of the big three are the Stranglers. And this is one that I find very difficult to pronounce. This is Rattus norvegicus. And the rat on the back, nice sunset. And this one's got Hanging Around and Peaches on it as well. So another great sort of revolutionary release from 1977. And yeah, there's also the Stranglers best of, and again, this fits neatly into the period that this episode's all about, 1977 to 83, and their best of collection covers 77 to 1982. Somebody looking awfully like Gary Newman there, but there you go. But yeah, best tracks from all these great albums. So we've got, yeah, No More Heroes, Walk On By, which is a great punk version of the Dionne Warwick classic. And we've also got La Folie, Nice and Sleazy, and Get a Grip on Yourself as well as featured in this collection. And then I guess this guy is the poet of punk rock, and a fantastic album, Ian Dury's New Boots and Panties. And yeah, the whole album is fantastic. That's actually Baxter Dury, who's gone on to be a great musician and recording artist in his own right. But yeah, you've got Sweet Jean Vincent, which starts off very slow and then is going on about different things in black and white, and then sort of roars away with Sweet Jean Vincent. And it's almost like Haydn's Surprise Symphony, that if you're listening to the introduction, you get lulled into a false sense of security, and then bang, you get the rest of the song. You've got I'm partial to your Abracadabra, Clever Trevor, Blockheads, and If I Was With a Woman, amongst others. This is a really nice sort of reissue, because it's got live in Paris, no, live at the Paris Theatre, London, recorded on the 1st of July, 78. So it's got, yeah, it's got sex and drugs and rock and roll on it, as well as What a Waste, which weren't on the original album. And then one of my favorite bands of all time from Derry, or Londonderry in Northern Ireland, and the Undertones, and their debut album from 79. And this has got, as well as Teenage Kicks, we've got Jump Boys, Here Comes the Summer, True Confessions, Jimmy Jimmy, She's a Runaround. Fantastic album. You've got alternate covers, but really good power group with really nice songs about ordinary things as well. And then from England, we've got this power trio, sort of mod revival. Not sure if I'd call these guys punk. They're a bit too refined to be punk, but yes, Paul Weller and Bruce Foxton, and the drummer, Rick Buckler. But this is the Modern World, which is a great opening track. And then, not sure if it's London Traffic, or I think one of these songs is a real homage to The Who. Really great power chords in that as well. And then on the second side, we've got In the Street Today, which is an echo of Out in the Streets by the Who. And then you've got Here Comes the Weekend, Tonight at Noon. It's an interesting title. And they do a great version of Wilson Pickett's In the Midnight Hour. So the Jam's catalogue were of course great. So a good summary of their output is the very best of the Jam. And you've got News of the World, David Watts, A-Bomb in Wardour Street, Eton Rifles, Strange Town, That's Entertainment, Start, Town Called Malice, and The Beat Surrender, amongst 21 songs. So yeah, the Jam. Paul Weller, of course, is one of the artists of the 20th and 21st century. And then we're going to have a trip over the Atlantic, and again, another influential sort of punk era, but more pop band, new wave band, and Debbie Harry, Christine and co, and Blondie's Essential album. Again, this is one of the ones that is really the touchstone album of 1978. And that's Parallel Lines. And this could, of course, be deemed a greatest hits album as well. So we've got Hanging on the Telephone, One Way or Another, Pretty Baby, and Sunday Girl, and Heart of Glass are on here. And you've got, some Bo Diddley beats in here as well, but just a great New York band doing 78's finest pop on this album. And then moving on to 1980, or the end of 79, 80, I always think of this as the first proper album of the 80s. And Chrissie Hynde and Pete Farndon, James Honeyman Scott, and Martin Chambers. And this has got some fantastic songs on it too. So we've got Precious, Tattooed Love Boys, Kid, Brass in Pocket, which I think was a number one of the early number ones of 1980, and Private Life, Stop Your Sobbing. A lot of Kinks influence on this, but a great album. And then Squeeze. So if you think of truly English bands, The Who, the Kinks, Squeeze are up there with quintessential English bands, along with the Jam as well. But this is a great album. So we've got Cool for Cats, released in March 79, Up the Junction, May 1979, and Pulling Muscles from the Shell from 1980. And it goes through to Black Coffee in Bed and Tempted from 82, and Tempted's from 81, as is That Love. So yeah, great Gifford Tilbrook songs, and yeah, fantastic English band, Squeeze. And then I wasn't sure which one of these to show, but we mentioned about the reggae influence on London's Calling, and the Police had very much had a reggae beat to their songs, their singles, and we have Regatta de Blanc, and we've got Outlandos d'Amour. So 79, and yeah, great albums. You've got So Lonely, Roxanne, and Can't Stand Loving You, or Can't Stand Losing You, and Born in the 50s, which applies to me. I was born in the 50s. And then on Regatta de Blanc, you've got Message in a Bottle and Walking on the Moon as the big hits from this album. But the Bed's Too Big Without You and On Any Other Day, a great collection of songs from Sting and Friends. Now, I'm going to move away from the punk seam. We imagine this is like a coal mine, and we're drilling through the years. So we've got the seam of punk rock, but we've also got the seam of electronic rock. And of course, one of the great artists of the 20th century and the 21st century was, of course, David Bowie. And he morphed into different genres, or he became, superstar of various genres, subgenres during his career. And of course, Heroes, which is part of the Berlin trilogy, was from 1977. And you've got Beauty and the Beast on here. But you've also got Heroes, which is, of course, the masterwork on here. But the second side, V2 Schneider, Sense of Doubt, Moss Garden, and New Cologne, as well as The Secret Life of Arabia. So you've got Brian Eno from Roxy Music, working together with Bowie, and Carlos Alomar on rhythm guitar, and George Murray on electric bass, with a guest appearance from Robert Fripp. But this is electronic music, and Bowie sort of setting the stage for a new genre in music. And then electronic music, mainly the keyboards, synthesizers, synth rock. We've got Yazoo with Vince Clarke and Alison Moyet. And this has got Don't Go and Goodbye 70s and In My Room, Bad Connection, etc. So this was an album from 82, but very much the sound is influenced by Bowie's Berlin trilogy of Low, Heroes, and Lodger. And then, similar sort of vein, you've got the Eurythmics, and this one's Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Annie Lennox is a fellow Aberdonian, so she grew up in the northeast of Scotland, and then I think she went to London to study at the Royal Academy of Music. I'm not sure if it was cello or clarinet that was her instrument, and then she saw the standard of the musicians at the Royal Academy of Music. I'm sure she would have held her own even in that company, but she went off to make her own music and teamed up with Dave Stewart, and we had this great duo, the Eurythmics, and some great songs. So we've got Love is a Stranger and Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, and we've got I Could Give You a Mirror, I've Got an Angel, The City Never Sleeps, and of course the title track, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. And then again, electronic music, and we have a band with some great singers on it, and we're speaking about Phil Oakley, and this has got, of course, the fantastic Love Action on it, and The Things That Dreams Are Made Of, as well as Get Carter, and of course the big single from this is Don't You Want Me Baby. I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar, never done that, no. But great album in the electronic pop. And then I'm going to go back to David Bowie, and he kind of invents or amplifies the New Romantics. So we have Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, and we have that fantastic video that goes with Ashes to Ashes, and Fashion is a great single from here as well. And yeah, I think this is the one that they got Pete Townsend to do some power chords on on the recording. In return, I don't know if he got a payment, but he wanted a few bottles of red wine to do his stuff. But yeah, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. And then the New Romantics, we've got Boy George and Culture Club, and this is one of the albums of 1983, and this has got Karma Chameleon rather than I'm a Comedian. That is sometimes the misheard lyric. And we've also got Church of the Poison Mine and Black Money and That's the Way, and Storm Keepers also on here. But the big songs are Karma Chameleon and Church of the Poison Mine. And then I've got another two examples from the New Romantics era, and we've got Spandau Ballet, and this singles collection covers 1981 through to 1983 and 84 as well. So you've got the big ones here are Chant Number 1, I Don't Need This Pressure On, which reached number 3 in January 81. And then To Cut a Long Story Short was an earlier hit single, and that was in November 1980, where it reached number 5 in the charts. And then you've got the number 1 of True from April 83. And everybody would think that Gold was a number 1, but it only reached number 2 in August 1983. So Spandau Ballet, and I'm going to cheat a bit here. So the period that's under discussion is 77 to 83. but this Duran Duran Arena album is from concerts from 1984. But the reason I wanted to choose it was because these are all the hits and they cover, you know, the early 80s. So you've got, Is There Something I Should Know, Hungry Like the Wolf, Save a Prayer, Wild Boys, and Union of the Snake, and Planet Earth, and Careless Memories. So period 77 to 83, we immediately think of punk, but of course, it was also the era of disco. So we've got the Bee Gees doing the soundtrack for the John Travolta hit movie, Saturday Night Fever, and Gatefold showing all the dance moves if you want to relive 77. You just need to find a flashing dance floor and dust down your white suit and your pointy shirt collars, and away you go. This, of course, has got not just the Bee Gees, but it's mainly the Bee Gees with Staying Alive and Jive Talking, Night Fever, and You Should Be Dancing. But you've also got Kool and the Gang's Open Sesame, More Than a Woman by Tavares, If I Can't Have You, Yvonne Elliman, and KG from MFSB. And there's some interesting disco meets classical music here. There's Walter Murphy's Fifth of Beethoven, which I think has been used as the opening titles music for a recent show about feminism, or the lack of it in America. And you also have A Night on a Disco Mountain, which is a sort of classical music disco beat version of Mussorgsky's Night on a Bare Mountain. So yeah, really great essential album from 77 that is not punk rock, but is disco. And then, of course, we have two albums from a master of dance music. We've got Michael Jackson's The Wall. And on this, if I can read upside down, we've got Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, and Off the Wall, Girlfriend, and Burn This Disco Out. So Michael Jackson cutting his teeth as a solo artist. And then, of course, you go to Michael Jackson's masterpiece, Thriller, that famous video with the zombie dance moves. And yeah, this whole album is the King of Pop's testament. And Billie Jean, Thriller, Beat It, and Pretty Young Thing, The Lady in My Life. Not sure if I approve of the tiger cub there. Sort of smacks of the Tiger King and breeding wild animals just for photo opportunities. But yeah, we'll quickly move away from that. And then, of course, we had another dance movement, and this is the Best of British Ska Live. And again, this is a soundtrack album, but we've got the great Ska Revival and Beat Merchants of Bad Manners, The Beat, The Body Snatchers, Madness, The Selector, and The Specials. And what have we got on here? We've got Concrete Jungle by The Specials and Nightclub by The Specials, 3 Minute, 3 Minute Hero by The Selecter, and Mirror in the Bathroom by The Beat, and One Step Beyond by Madness. So yeah, great lineup of the essential artists from this movement. So I've just realized I forgot to show 2 cassettes. So first one was from the New Romantics and Kings of the Wild Frontier from Adam and the Ants. And this has got Dog Eat Dog on it, and Jolly Roger, and Ants Invasion, and Ant Music. So some great New Romantics fashion with the sort of combination of Native American feathers and earrings, etc., and breastplates maybe, and sort of military uniforms and pirate regalia, pirate clothes, etc., and a lot of face paint as well. So that's Adam from Adam and the Ants. And then how could I miss this guy? Elvis Costello, the man. And shame on me, because my only Elvis Costello music is this best of collection on cassette. My brother did have Armed Forces, so I used to listen to that quite a lot, Oliver's Army, etc. But on here we've got Watching the Detectives, Good Year for the Roses, Can't Stand Up for Falling Down, Green Shirt, New Amsterdam, Pump It Up, Allison, Oliver's Army, and Accidents Will Happen. And of course, Elvis Costello had a great career, and he explored music in all sorts of genres as well with his country music album, which he debuted at a hotel nightclub in Aberdeen. So that was the first time that we knew that Elvis Costello had gone from new wave to country or country rock. And that was a big shock to his fans at the time, but he's a master of several genres and an all-around great musician. So Elvis Costello. So hope you've enjoyed watching this edition of Rock's 7-Year Itch and covering the period 1977 to 83. I'll be back later with another edition in this series, and my idea is really to showcase some of the great bands, songs, and musicians of these different time periods, and try and uphold my theory that every 7 years or so, there's something new comes along that wipes away what has come before or what has gone before. So bye from a sunny but cold Aberdeen in Scotland, and we'll catch you next time.